Hey there everybody, PT Pop here, and in today's video I'm going to talk about the top 10 ways you can prepare for working in a call center. Stay tuned. In today's video I'm going to talk about the top 10 ways you can prepare for working in a call center if you happen to have accepted a position in a call center. Number 10, before you leave your previous employer, do not burn any bridges with them. I say this because it's always good to have somewhere to go back to, something to fall back on. Make sure you leave under good terms. Make sure you leave with a good handshake, a good exit interview, and have them as a reference. You can use them as a reference for a future. This leads to my number 9. The number 9 way you can prepare for a call center job is go into your call center job with an exit strategy. Now, I'm not saying prepare to fail, but you need to understand that most people do not succeed in call center work, and you have to have a plan B. And that's why I say leave your previous employer, if you had a previous employer, under good circumstances. May need to ask them, go crawling back to them, say, hey, I took this other job. Can I come back? It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Okay, so you have to have a backup plan. Have something you can fall back on. Even if you thought the previous job wasn't that great, trust me, you're gonna need a plan B. Number 8, keep your parachute nearby. What I mean by this is keep an imaginary parachute that if things get to be too hard, things get to be too stressful, you can strap your parachute on and jump ship. You can jump right out of the plane and float to safety. I say this because call center work is some of the most stressful work you'll ever experience in your life, especially if you're doing inbound customer service. It's not worth risking your mental or physical health to keep this job. So keep your parachute handy and be prepared to bail before you seriously get mentally or physically sick. When I was at Verizon Wireless, at least once a month, the paramedics were there, coming up the back stairs with their gurney to take somebody out. And there were always people dropping to the floor, passing out, stressing out, having heart attacks. But a lot of people just never came back. I don't know what their status was, but it's not worth risk getting sick, and you will get sick working in a call center. Number 7, be prepared for disappointment. Most call centers overpromise and underdeliver. During the interview process, call center interviewers will promise you the stars, but they're only going to give you Cleveland. They're going to promise you pay raises, bonuses, a fun rock and roll atmosphere. They're going to promise you a fun family environment. And you think you're going to be walking into this wonderful, glorious corporate environment, but you're really going to be walking into an asylum atmosphere where the metrics that you have to achieve are almost impossible to meet, and the bonuses that they promise you and the raises they promise you and the days off they promise you are totally dependent upon you meeting these metrics. And if you don't meet them, you don't get the raise, you don't get the bonus, you don't get the time off. If you don't meet the metrics and you come on in second shift, they'll tell you, well, don't worry about it on second shift. As long as you meet the metrics within 6 months to a year, you can post out and work on first shift. It's almost impossible to meet these metrics within the first year. Trust me on this, okay? So just be prepared for disappointment. Number 6, let friends and family know that you'll no longer be available for social activities on weekends and holidays. 99.9% of all call centers make you work second or third shift. They make you work at least one day in a weekend, and almost every single one is open 365, 24/7, 365. Not all of them, but most of them these days are even open on Christmas and New Year's, Easter, all the Christian holidays. They don't observe any of the Jewish holidays or Kwanzaa or Festivus or any of that stuff. But you're gonna give up your Saturdays. You're gonna give up probably one of your Sundays. You're gonna give up Christmas, New Year's Eve. You're not gonna be going out with your friends anymore on the weekends. You're not going to be hanging out with your kids and your family on the weekends. So be prepared for a massive change and a shift in your social life. Number 5, find a good daycare center for your kids, or find a family member to watch your kids, because your schedule is not going to be flexible. As I said in the previous step, number 6, you're going to have to work weekends. You're going to have to work holidays. So on the weekends, when you're usually home with little Sally or little Billy, you're not going to be there. And if you're a single mom or single dad, who's going to watch them? What if you don't have a grandma anymore sitting around just saying, yeah, I'll go watch the kid? You're going to have to find someplace to put the kid, and you can't bring him to work. Most places, unless they're massive companies, don't have daycare centers built into them. Also, you're going to be working second shift. You'll start off in second or third shift. So when little Billy or Sally comes home from school at 3 o'clock, you're going to be sitting there at a desk taking calls from horrible customers, and they're going to be like, where's mommy? Where's daddy? Oh, they're down the street at the call center. They can't work. So you're going to have to find a good daycare center. And it's not going to be cheap. And what you're going to be making at a call center, you're not going to be able to afford a daycare center on a call center salary. So you'll probably have to be working 2 jobs. Number 4, if you're the type of person that takes things way too personally, do not take this job. Do not. Especially inbound call center. The people in the 21st century, the customers that call into inbound call centers, are some of the most sadistic, cruel, unintelligent. I don't even know if there's enough words to describe the type of characters that call in these call centers. They are horrific. They are horrible. They will call you every name in the book. They will insult you, degrade you, put you down, demean you. I am not over-exaggerating this. If you're an African-American person, you will hear racial slurs. If you're Indian, you will hear racial slurs. If you're Hispanic, you're going to hear racial slurs. You're going to hear all kinds of things. If you sound the least bit whatever, and they're going to tear into you. So if you're somebody who doesn't like to be insulted, if you're very proud of your racial heritage or whatever it happens to be, don't take this job. Number 3, if you smoke cigarettes, if you're a smoker, you may want to try to quit. Now, I'll tell you what, I know smoking is supposed to be more addictive than heroin. And if you have to give up something like this to work in a company, you're going to want to reconsider taking the job. Most call centers these days are going to a tobacco-free environment because smokers take away from their bottom line. If they see that you're outside smoking 7 times during your shift, that's like 7 minutes every time you're out there. That's like 49 minutes a day, which is basically an hour of work time that you should be on the phones that you're out there smoking. If you just had a regular desk job where you're sitting at a desk all day and you're not dealing with the general public and you're filing papers or you're just placing orders that are given to you by like an office manager, they don't care if you go out every 40 minutes to go have a cigarette break. But where you're in a call center, you are literally a slave to that phone. You are tied to the phone with this leash. This is your leash. And you cannot leave that desk. You can't go to the bathroom. You can't smoke cigarettes. You can't go eat. You can't do anything. So you may want to consider giving up smoking. If smoking is something you're not willing to part with and you don't know how to do it and you've tried in the past, don't take this job because you'll get fired. They'll can you within 6 months because you're taking too many breaks off the clock and you're not meeting your metrics. Number 2, if you are easily offended by rude people or coworkers, think twice before working in a call center. Now, I had mentioned if you take things personally, I'm not talking about things that are directly directed at you as an individual. 90% of the people that you're going to be sitting alongside in the call center are not professional people. They are primarily blue-collar people that, for all intents and purposes, should be working in a factory, but they got a job in a call center. Okay? These are not people with a lot of real strong social skills or critical thinking skills. And some of the conversations you're going to hear on the floor and in the break room and in the cafeteria and in the parking lot are going to be highly offensive and crazy. You're going to hear discussions about the president, about our government, about religion, about race. You're going to hear racial slurs. You're going to hear all kinds of things. I heard it all. So you're going to hear all kinds of things, and you're going to have a very thick skin. If you don't, and you're offended by people putting down the president or putting down certain religions or putting down certain faiths, races. If any of those things that upset you, do not work there. Do not. You will not last. You'll walk out one day. You'll be so upset by the things you hear talked about on the floor. It'll be too much for you. And the number one thing you should do to prepare for working in a call center is honestly try to avoid working in a call center at all costs. I know you may have already accepted the job. You may be excited about going in, but a call center job really should be a last resort. If you're on the doorstep of being kicked out of your apartment, you don't have any other options. McDonald's won't take you, and your ex isn't giving you child support anymore, or whatever it happens to be. If it's a really dire situation and you're really strapped for money, take the job. And do your best to grit your teeth and get through it till you find something else. But try to avoid at all costs a call center job. It should be the last resort. If you do happen to take it, please keep your resume up to date and start looking for something else right away. Start looking for another job immediately, because most people don't succeed at these call center jobs. They don't last any more than 6 months and they're gone. They're either let go or they quit. You have to have a backup, a parachute. You have to be prepared basically for war, but as a last resort, do not take a job at a call center unless you absolutely positively have to. It can wreck your health. It can wreck your mental stability. It can wreck your family. It can wreck everything. It's going to totally turn your world upside down, and there's really no positive sides to a job in a call center. Trust me on this. Please believe me. PT Pop signing out. If you like my videos, please give it a thumbs up. I appreciate everybody who watches. Press subscribe if you want to subscribe. Have a good day. Thanks for watching. Bye.